purchases sitting around in a suitcase somewhere. But what happens if you can't sell your home, or the closing dates don't match, and the bank won't lend you the money to bridge? You get sued. Your life becomes a nightmare, and this has cost many families everything. So, you better make sure to avoid the stress and lawsuits by calling the only team that has the solutions, and will guarantee that you can buy your next home on time without the stress of potential lawsuit. The Buyer Need Home Purchase Program is there for you. Call 416-917-5466. That's 416-917-LION. Or go online to getleo.com and start packing with confidence.
HBO's biggest series is back. The Last of Us. Don't miss the Emmy-winning HBO original critics call breathtaking.
We finished what we started.
The Last of Us. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe now at crave.ca.
The Battle of Ontario is on, and FanDuel is your home for all the drama. Build your bet live, any game, any period. Stack multiple matchups on one slip with SGP Plus, and get exclusive markets if Toronto and Ottawa take it to overtime. Download FanDuel and get more playoff action.
Please play responsibly. 19 plus and physically located in Ontario. If you have questions over your gambling or the gambling of someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge.
When you get into a new Tacoma, you might suddenly find yourself climbing over roots, rocks, and rolling hills on your way to a forest retreat that should definitely make up for years of lackluster staycations. All that's left to do is drive it home. Get in and go right now at Toyota, where you can lease a 2025 Tacoma 4x4 double cab SR5 from $131 weekly for 24 months at 6.79% with $4,900 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your Ontario Toyota dealer today.
G4 is where modern design, youthful energy, and golf's rich traditions intersect. Whether you're a traditionalist or a boundary pusher, you'll find your new favorite golf wear without compromising fashion for function. Gone are the days of standard style on the green or unspoken dress codes. Designed with bold hues and unique patterns, G4 will add color to your game. Shop best-selling footwear silhouettes in vibrant apparel styles directly from G4.ca, as well as at Canada's finest pro shops.
I'm Andrew Burgell.
And I'm Elon Burgell.
At Burgell McGinsey, we know that accidents don't just affect the injured person. They affect their entire family.
We'll listen and help you understand your rights. And we'll fight to get you the compensation you deserve.
For over 50 years, Burgell McGinsey has recovered hundreds of millions of dollars for injured clients and their families.
Let the Burgell McGinsey family take care of your family.
Burgell McGinsey, 416-665-2000.
I'm Mark Carney. I know people are anxious right now. President Trump has created a crisis. Well, I've led people through crises my entire career.
These women are good people.
Amanda Seyfried stars.
It's our job to protect them.
In the riveting mystery thriller.
You gotta let it go.
I'll let it go when I find her.
Long Bright River. All new. Saturday at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on USA Network. Stream on Crave.
Springtime means it's Jiffy time in my house. My yard is a mess. The barbecue hasn't been touched since last summer. And my windows, let's not talk about those. So I hopped on the Jiffy app and booked all 3 Jiffy jobs in seconds. Just a couple minutes later, I've got Jesse, Corey, and John coming by the house right when I need them. Trust me, Jiffy is a no-brainer for your spring to-do list. Download the Jiffy app or sign up at jiffyondemand.com with the code SPORTS for $25 off your first job. Jiffy, Canada's #1 home maintenance app.
It was a rainy day when Pizzaville introduced the New York-style Cup and Char pepperoni pizza. It comes with our signature thin crust, mozzarella and Parmesan cheese, and our new Cup and Char pepperoni. You guys will love this New York-style Cup and Char pepperoni pizza so much, it'll bring out your inner New Yorker. Hey, same to you, buddy! Call Pizzaville at 736-3636.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Bet365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
CHUM AM Toronto is TSN 1050, an iHeart radio station and the voice of Toronto sports. This is Leafs Game Night. on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Oh, yes, they do. Game 2 all set to go. Leafs and Senators. The Battle of Ontario continues on the way to the opening faceoff. We should think about what makes this battle interesting. Coach Craig Berube on that.
You know, there's some hatred there for sure, and it's pretty good. I enjoy it.
So not much concern with the 5-forward power play unit. Austin Matthews on quarterback Marner.
Does a good job of being a dual threat as well. I mean, he shoots pucks, he gets pucks through. So, JT and Izzy, these guys can kind of tip it or get rebounds and stuff like that, and they can collapse down on it. And obviously, he's a great passer, so he can find seams and find lanes for guys to get shots off.
And then there's the goaltending. Anthony Stolar is very good in Game 1, and Bobby McMahon was not surprised.
He's been stellar all down the stretch, and maybe even another step up here in playoffs. Keeping it calm and cool back there, though, making it look easy. And I know he's working hard back there, but he makes it look so smooth and so easy.
Welcome to Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart reporting from the Scotiabank Arena press box. And Stu, I mean, this is an opportunity here for the Leafs to take a nice 2-0 series lead, but the pressure has to be in Ottawa to tighten things up.
I think it does, right, as they have the boo boards as they come onto the ice, and it's not saying it's a must-win for the Ottawa Senators, but they have to have a much better effort in the discipline department. Toronto 3 for 6 on the power play, and that was the main difference. And for Ottawa, I think they have to continue to have a good start like they did last game. They did control the 5-on-5 play, but just the energy and maybe the emotion and the moment being too big for some players caught up to them. So I'm sure Travis Green, who kept his cool in the post-game presser talking about, yeah, you know what, we're going to respond, and we were happy with some of the things we do. I think the first 5-10 minutes is key for the Ottawa Senators tonight.
Absolutely. They cannot be anywhere near as generous as they were in Game 1. The Leafs will make them pay, we know that. But having said that, what carries over from one game to the next in a playoff series?
I would say maybe the emotions, right? And you have to manage that, right? And Toronto, who's been notorious in previous seasons for getting pushed over, ran out of buildings, they've answered the bell in the physicality department every single year. Remember the big bad Bruins and all? Well, see you later. They're sitting at home watching right now, golfing on the ninth hole here. But I think for Toronto, just managing those emotions. And if I'm Craig Berube and the way that the NHL works, he's going to say, you know what? There were some questions about the officiating and the pendulum swinging in our favor last game. We cannot make any easy calls for Ottawa here. So you have to have discipline, play the right way, but continue to get 4 lines involved, getting it on the forecheck, making Ottawa's defensemen turn, but just staying out of the box. I think that's a key to success for Toronto tonight.
So let's pretend we're coaches of both these teams. I mean, obviously, if you're in the Ottawa dressing room, you've got a lot to say, and there's good examples of what you need to stop happening. When you're on the Leafs side, you took advantage of everything. So I guess the message would be, take advantage of everything they give you, but it won't be the same as in Game 1.
I think it will be, and I think it's you want to help your goaltender out a bit. A little bit of a gasp as we were watching last game as the goaltender was ran into by the Ottawa player. I believe that was Ridley Gregg, who's been adding a physical element all season against the Toronto Maple Leafs. But you want to help your goaltender out. You know he's going to be showing up, but you don't want to get into the 37, 38, 40 shot department, right? He did not partake in morning skate today, I believe. So you want him rested. You want him, showing up but not overworked. So I think for Toronto, you want to spend more time in the Ottawa Senators zone and not just rely on the power play. But I've been saying this all year. We called it the yacht music. They play that yacht rock second period where it's just back and forth and they just wait for their opportunity and boom, they pounce and the puck is in the net. So great. Power play was clicking. You got a goal from the fourth line. 2 defensemen scored. That's a recipe for success. Or if I'm Toronto, you got to continue that. And playoffs all about unsung heroes, and you had a couple last game.
Yeah, I think if you're on the Ottawa side and you're trying to prevent the same things from happening, you have to understand the theory. The theory is the Leafs, if you give anything to the Leafs, they're going to cash in because they have that ability. So even though you don't give them the same things, if you give them anything else, they're going to be there.
Yes, and if I'm Travis Green right now, my pregame speech is you want to turn those rally towels into handkerchiefs, right? And you want to take them out of it early and early and often. And again, I did see some Ottawa jerseys here, but the key is the start. And we've seen Ottawa here, I believe, 2 times this year really outskate Toronto.
Yeah.
They've outskated them, they've outpaced them, they've out-physicality'd, if that's even a word, oftentimes. So they got to get back to that.
Muscled. I go with that muscled. Yeah.
Muscled. Thank you.
Much better.
Grade 12 English. That's grade 5. Excuse me. And again, some guys are quiet, right? Kachuk had a quiet night last night. Some people are expecting him to be a little bit louder. Stützle, Batherson, I think, was their best forward last game. So there's some guys that are being called to task, and they're too good of a team for those guys to be shut down, I believe, after 2 games in a row.
So, I mean, the power play was so efficient, it was sickening. I mean, there's 3 goals there, and they're 20 seconds in on opening faceoff in total. Not one play. All 3 of them happened in 20 seconds.
Is that by accident?
You run into anybody who played. So let me ask you this, because I've never seen it, and I've watched hockey all my life. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't seen it, so that must be a kudos to the scouting department or the coaching staff, knowing that Ottawa, maybe they start their penalty kills slow, where maybe they go to their assignments a little bit slower, or they don't get into position, or it's a team that really dominates once they do get set up. So I think the key to that was, hey, you know what? We want to get the first shot probably in the first 10, 15 seconds to really get them on their toes. So the key to that is, and this is Tampa Bay's forte, is the puck retrievals, right? Where they had guys in position to, if it missed the net or there was a rebound, they were pouncing on it right away. But it just so happened that those first shots sort of beat the goaltender, right? Matthew Nye is going to the net for the second, third opportunity, putting it in for his first power play goal of the season as well. So that had to have been planned. And if we were down there, of course we would have asked that question. But maybe someone will ask it tonight.
Well, and the trick is Giroux was the face-off loser for Ottawa, and he's one of the best in the business.
And that could be an emphasis. And I've been caught sleeping many a times, and that's why I'm sitting up here talking about it, not playing it. Sometimes those details and margin for error are very, very slim, and Toronto capitalized. So if I'm Travis Green going through that video, it's, guys, we got to be prepared. Every single face-off, every single inch, every breakout, every neutral zone. So I know it's a game of mistakes, but there was too many that Ottawa made, and that's the reason why they were down 6-2.
I think what would bother me if I'm in the Ottawa dressing room is that everything that anytime the Leafs had to answer back, they did. The 6 times. And each one of those goals is a backbreaker if you look at how it happened and when it happened.
It is. And, they got maybe a little bit lucky on the Batherson goal as Stolar sort of fumbled the puck, and they got, when have you seen that? I think the last time was the 35th of February. That hasn't happened many times. And then in the third period, they get an early goal to make it 4-2, and you're like, I've seen this picture before. And then, boom, Morgan Rielly scores 45 seconds later. So Toronto this year, they've answered the bell more times than not, and that's why I feel this season's a little bit different. They've been responded. And it's not just the regular cast of characters. You've seen other guys have good games. You saw the fourth line get involved. Defense, right? One of the least amount of goals amongst defensemen, I think, in the whole entire National Hockey League. They got involved, too. So guys are elevating in playoffs, and that's a positive sign of things to come.
So here's the question I'm going to ask you, because we're going to have Craig Berube speak on this as well. What do the Leafs have to do better in Game 2?
I would say 5-on-5. 5-on-5, and I think it starts in your own zone. You do not want to get caught hypnotized where you now have to collapse and you're blocking shots, because as series go along or as games goes along, when you get a bite taken out of you, it hurts. So do yourself a favor. Do not get caught trying to block 25, 30 shots a night, and it starts with your exit. So defense, get back on retrievals, have a little bit more hop on your step, and have a little bit cleaner breakouts. I think for the center, good job closing off, but just paying attention to the details. We saw Toronto, it worked in their favor last game, on Marner, where you blew the zone right away and Matthews made a perfect play, but you can't be blowing the zone. You got to pay attention to the details and helping out your goaltender and ultimately your defense as well.
Tonight's Coach's Comment is powered by your Ontario Honda dealers. Need power and performance in your lineup? Meet the Ontario-built CRV Sport. Visit your local Honda dealer today for more on that. Here's Coach Berube and what they need to do better in Game 2.
We can do a better job defensively and check better than we did last game. I thought we gave up some chances that we didn't need to give up, and offensively we got to control more of the game in the offensive zone than we did.
How do you brace for that pushback from the Senators while still, trying to dictate your own game, especially really? I
think just preparation from your players, and the coaches obviously, but players just understanding that, the start of the game is crucial, in my opinion, and being prepared for a hard push from them is, that's the best way I can put it is like you got to be prepared to battle and puck battles and a physical play and making hard plays, simple plays with the puck. Those are the types of things that you want to prepare for as a player, and we got to skate early. We got to be on our toes. We got to skate right away. We got to be skating.
You like to keep the mood loose if you can during the playoffs? Like, what's your approach in terms of the temperature of the room and keeping?
Not much different than a regular season. I think, it depends on the situation and the game and what's going on. I'm pretty much the same.
The Stützle line had a lot of success at 5-on-5 just in terms of generating shots. I mean, what's the key to maybe reducing that a little bit with that?
Yeah, well, I thought we let Stützle carry the pucks through the Duchess zone a little bit too easily at times. I think we need to force them to put pucks in more deep than they did. I thought they gained the zone on us with possession too many times, and then that's a good forechecking line. They're heavy with Tkachuk on there, and Stützle's heavier than you think. We got to break the puck out better. So when we force them to dump pucks, we got to make sure we're getting that puck and we're making a strong play right away and getting it out of our zone, limit them from creating them zone time on us.
What do you like about what you've sensed from your group coming off that Game 1 win?
I think, we're in a good spot. I liked our attitude yesterday in practice. Pretty businesslike, ready to go. Like I said, it's one game. And I think, what I see is we moved on from it and then we're ready for Game 2. That's the biggest thing is like getting ready for Game 2, moving on from Game 1. That was Game 1, throw it out. We're going to, obviously you look at things that you want to do better and maybe what they're going to adjust and do or, different things like that. But it's the mindset of getting prepared for Game 2 and understanding it's going to be a harder game.
It should be, for sure. So the building's starting to build some energy. The teams are warming up still. Another 5 minutes for them, and then they'll clear the ice. We're going to come back and do the starting lineup and keys to the game. Leafs Game Night live from Scotiabank Arena, TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and wherever you find a podcast on the Leafs Radio Network.
Hey, it's James Duffy for McAlpine Ford in Aurora. The best sales and service you will find anywhere.
Jimmy, step aside.
Oh, what are you doing? I'm recording the commercial.
HBO's biggest series is back, and it's only on Crave.
If you just keep going, you find something new to fight for.
The Last of Us, starring Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey.
There's no halfway with this.
Don't miss the Emmy-winning HBO original critics call breathtaking and masterfully tense.
What did you do?
I saved her.
The Last of Us. Stream now, only on Crave. Subscribe now at crave.ca.
Eddie, did you order 20 high five specials from 2-for-1 Pizza?
You kept asking for high fives.
I meant, never mind. I'm hungry.
High five. Buy any large traditional pizza and get up to 3 medium one-topping pizzas for just $5 each.
If a good time sounds like, or golden hour tastes like, and getting back to yourself feels like, you've got a sense of New Brunswick.
Mark's Can't Miss Spring event is on now. Until April 23rd, save up to 60% on a wide selection of styles perfect for spring. Refresh your closet and save on jackets, jeans, hikers, and more. Visit Marks and Marks.com.
This is the sound of medicine. When you stay at a Ronald McDonald House, close to your sick child, family is medicine. And right now, it's helping Ryan battle leukemia. We need your help to keep families together. Please donate today at rmhc.ca.
Red and white, it runs through the veins of everyone who calls our country home. It brings us closer together, no matter where we are. This spring, patients across Canada need you to give a little red and white. Canadian Blood Services needs 450 new blood and plasma donors every day to fuel Canada's lifeline. Let's get Canada's blood pumping. Book an appointment today at blood.ca/450.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With a Cintas apparel program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.ca.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Making your lousy commute fun. Overdrive with Hayes Noodles and the O-Dog every weekday, 4 to 7 p.m. on TSN 1050.
Leafs game night live from Scotiabank Arena. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. Keys to the game is brought to you by Manicure and Manicure Plus. Come in for a free men's express pedicure. 4 locations in Toronto. Online at manicure.ca. Look at these. Oh, I need some work done here. This hand is a mess.
We got to work on the cuticles on the left side. The right side's perfect. But
those cuticles.
Starting with the Toronto Maple Leafs, the keys would be, I would say, attention to detail in the D zone. And you saw Anthony Stolarz with 31 saves, I believe, last night. 4 or 5 are high danger spots, opportunities where they easily could have gone in the net. So yes, he is dialed in and he seems like he's ready for prime time, but you do not want him overworked, right? He did have some injury problems this year as well, so do your best to insulate him and exit the zone as quick as possible. And the Ottawa Senators on the opposite end, discipline. Penalties were 6 power plays last night for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Toronto scored on 3 of them. So for them, they just have to stay out of the penalty box. They did a good job, had a good start, establishing a forecheck, establishing O-zone pressure and possession. They just have to continue to do that. And I'm looking for a little bit more from the Stützles and the Tkachuks. Batherson was their best forward last game, so the big dog's got to step up. And a better performance from Allmark. I won't blame him on many of those goals, but he's got to be better and get back to his old form that he was most of the season.
So Ottawa's, for the most part, a younger team. Hasn't been in the playoffs for a while. When they sort of lose their composure slightly with the physical stuff in Game 2, that's frustration boiling over because they did a lot of things right, but had not much to show for it. So how do you rein that in without canceling it out? Like, you still want to be aggressive, but you got to be careful.
I think you just got to hit a reset and learn from your mistakes. There's a lot of iPads on the bench, so you know, hey, you know what, maybe I got to go on a proper angle, or maybe, you know what, I don't cross-check a guy here. Maybe I go in with my body. So I think it's just learning from your mistakes. But ultimately, you know, you have to learn. If not, you're going to be in the penalty box the whole game. And, you know, I don't think any of those were hacky-tack penalties. All of those were earned. And I'm sure, you know, they're going to adjust. It's the National Hockey League. These players are very, very smart, very, very cerebral, and they can adjust, on the fly. So I think for them, they're going to continue to get on the forecheck, but just, you know, getting involved in the extracurricular activities does not spell well for them, because Toronto is just a team that just forwardly marches every single shift, and they're going to capitalize on any opportunity that you give them.
Well, and you certainly don't want to have to kill off a 5-on-3 at a key point in a hockey game, which is what happened.
You don't. And, you know, especially when you have a 5-man unit where now you legitimately have 5 weapons, right? And, you know, you saw Tavares earlier on in the bumper position. Now he is a high-tip rebound slot guy. You have Nyes, who's budding into a premier power forward. You saw his deft scoring touch and him scoring last game as well. You have Matthews on the flank. You have Marner coming downhill. I'm getting tremors just thinking about it. So you do not, again, yes, they have some good penalty killers, some guys that can block shots, and a great goaltender in Allmark. But, again, if you can limit them to 3-4 penalties max, that's got to be a key for me, because, again, you give them any more than that, they're going to take over the game. They're just too good.
So there was a quote yesterday, actually today, from Craig Berube saying that they're business-like, they've moved on, and he likes that about his team. Here's Jake McCabe on the team's business-like approach to Game 2.
That's the playoffs for you. It's on to the next one. Last game doesn't mean much unless you follow it up with a good effort.
Pontus Holmberg moves up to the top 6. What have you learned about him this year?
I think throughout our lineup, guys have shown that we can plug and play guys throughout top 6, bottom 6, whatever it may be, and Domes is a great example of it. He's pops up to the wing, and then he pops back to center. It's not an easy thing to do, but he makes it look pretty seamless. So to have guys in our group like him and Pontus, and I can go down the list, frankly. It's definitely an asset that we've used we have used well all year.
How was the adjustment for you getting back into there after a bit of time off?
Good. I think I can definitely be better, but I thought me and Tanny were pretty steady.
Ottawa's a team that tends to have really high shot volume. How do you defend against it?
I think just box outs in front of our net, and it's okay to give up shots sometimes. It's just those second opportunities in the slot that we're trying to minimize, and give clear line of sight for Stoli to make that first save, and clean up the stuff in front of him.
We'll see if the Sens make any changes. You had that series against Florida a couple years ago with Nick Cousins in there. If he comes in, kind of what sort of challenges he present?
Just another player over there. We got to manage their energy and their forecheck, and yeah.
Sunday was the first playoff game for a lot of guys on the other side. What do you remember about how you felt your first playoff game, and how much does playoff experience matter in your career?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of emotions. There's a little bit more juice in the building. It's nice to be at home here. The game one obviously took advantage of it, but like I alluded to, doesn't mean much unless you follow it up with a good effort in game two.
What's it like being around the city right now? You spoke about it beforehand, but like, what sort of buzz are you feeling, and how does that impact you?
Yeah, I certainly see Maple Leaf flags, people having it on their cars and around my neighborhood, and Maple Leaf jerseys around. So, like I said, the weather's changing. People are outside and, supporting the Leafs. It's good stuff.
Jake McCabe, and he is absolutely correct. There is a buzz in this building, isn't there?
There is. I was stopping and signing autographs on my way in, too. That's no big deal. But again, that's something I had to get that little humble brag in. There's an energy about it, right? And there's nothing in this city like Toronto Maple Leafs, especially when they're in a winning season, right? There's the Raptors, and we see them win the championships, TFC, the Argos, but It's just a total different nostalgia when it comes to Toronto Maple Leafs. People literally bleed blue and white.
Yep.
And he mentioned his neighborhood, right? And the kids at school, and all the minor hockey kids and the people that are in the stand. Like, it's legitimate hysteria in the city. So for me, and growing up in Toronto, I understood the importance of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I was almost waiting and feel sorry for them for not winning a Stanley Cup since 1967. So as a Toronto sports fan, I want to see it, and I'm sure there's millions of fans in the city that want to see it as well.
Yeah, that's well said. When you consider what Ottawa is going through here, and this is kind of an interesting, I guess, contrast, because the Leafs have been there for years with the struggles in the first round, although we're only one game in. But Ottawa displayed, I don't want to say immaturity, but newness to the playoffs was certainly a problem in game one. And when you see that, and when you see how the Leafs responded, you go, well, I guess, the Leafs are legitimate here, and, they've paid their dues. They've got the scar tissue, and others can learn that as well. And maybe it won't take others as long, but you can see that in Ottawa, that they're feeling their way, and the Leafs know their way, which is, I don't know if we ever said that before.
Yeah, I truly believe that the failures of the past have strengthened this group, and, they have a lot of scar tissue I think is going to guide them through this playoffs. But if I'm Ottawa, I'm thinking, hey, this team has blown a 3-1 lead over the years to the Montreal Canadiens and the Columbus Blue Jackets and other teams like that over the years. So they're playing almost with house money, where no one expected them to be here based on where they were come December or January. It's not saying they're playing with house money, but the expectations in years past that this was supposed to be the year they weren't going to get it. They found a way to get in with some great play. So Allmark came in and turned the tides of sort of this organization, and he's been amazing. But again, I think they're embracing the underdog role, where they understand if they put together 7 periods, that can be the difference in them getting back into the series. So I'm not panicking if I'm the Ottawa Senators, because they do have a lot of depth, and they have guys that can game break. You saw Batherson, he's got 26 goals this year as well. Pinto, third-line center, 20 goals. You got 38 goals on your fourth line between Gaudette and Zetterlund, who came over from the San Jose Sharks. So they have a lot of pieces there. It's not like they're relying on one or two guys or just a goaltender. They have some pieces that can get them back into the series, and I'm sure they're going to respond tonight. And if I'm Toronto, I'm not taking it easy, and you have to have that business-as-usual approach, because they understand and they know this series is far from being over.
So as we detailed earlier, the Leafs got 2 goals from defensemen. Power play was 3 out of 6. The big guns delivered. That really is a wish list right there, isn't it?
The only thing missing was a goalie goal. I don't know, or
a
fight,
shutout.
But and that's what you need. You need complete games. And it wasn't like one guy had a hat trick. We know Mitch Marner did have a big game as well too. But you saw Matthew Nyes get involved. Austin Matthews had his moments. The fourth line, Domi getting involved in the truculence department. So it was a great team effort, and that's what the playoffs are about. Yes, some guys are going to have some big moments, but collectively as a group, you have to play 60 minutes, and they did that for the most part in Game 1.
What did you make of the fourth line? Lawton, Yarncroke, and Lorentz in Game 1?
I go back to the story when I came back from the minors, from the NHL back to the minors, and they called me the ghost of Christmas past because I had 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 penalty minutes, plus 0, just zeros. And as a fourth liner, it's very easy to get caught in that 0-0-0 vortex, but they were involved. And it's not about the points. They got in on the forecheck. They established a cycle game. They were good defensively. They were winning their faceoff. So they were involved, and they had a net positive impact on that game. So they just got to continue to do that. There's going to be some games where they're going to get out-muscled or, they might get caught in their end, but they put together, their 12, 15 shifts, and they were consistent. Yeah. So, again, that's something to build off of. And, as the playoffs go along, you need some unsung heroes, but you need to build an identity. And that was a pretty good identity first game for that fourth line.
It was, and a major factor in the first goal. So, if you look at that first goal, there's a defenseman scoring, and it's generated by the fourth line. That's a couple of check marks right there.
Yeah, and that was a high-skill play, right? And sometimes, you get, it's contagious seeing all that skill, and you're like, you know what, I can make a play too. And that was a great pass by Scott Lawton, and, I'm going to see him. I'm predicting he's going to have a big series, and he's going to get involved in other ways. But for him to chip in offensively, I think that's a great welcome for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is the guy that did have 13 goals and 21 points, so he knows what he's doing. He can score 15, 16 goals, and I would not be surprised to see him have, 3-4 points. So the offense is a bonus, but I noticed they weren't hemmed in for extended period of times. They were getting pucks out. They were getting in on the forecheck, and they were impacting the game, and not being like a young Anthony Stewart and being the ghost of Christmas past.
No zeros. Oh well, somebody has to set the standard, right? If you're
the
not,
bar was low back then.
Somebody has to be the reference point.
Yeah.
Do not do that.
Imagine that. They pulled the tape from me in 2010. Oh man, yeah.
Don't be that guy. But I am that guy. Yeah. Well, change. What are you looking for a start here? You talked about the first 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, 5-5-5. 5 shots, 5 hits, and I get the crowd in it 5 different ways. And I think Stolarz is going to be dialed in, but I expect a big response from Ottawa tonight. So I think they're going to be chipping and charging. I could see them trying to rile up Toronto and take them off their game, getting involved in the extracurriculars. So I can see some power plays coming in that first 10 minutes of the first.
And maybe a little more to Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah, he's got to be better, right? But at the same time, you saw what he did at the Four Nations. He is a game breaker, and for him, I think he's just warming up. And again, maybe there was the expectations he's got to be the guy, but this is a team effort team. And I think he's going to respond big. He's going to try to take the crowd out of it early.
Yeah, sometimes you never know if a guy's playing hurt until you do the post-series press conference. Oh, sorry, he couldn't make it. He's having an operation as we speak.
Yeah, I got a torn motivator cuff sitting up here too, so no excuses. I'm playing injured. You're playing injured. It's part of the game. We know that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Leafs coming off a 6-2 win Sunday night here at Scotiabank Arena. This is Game 2 tonight. Game 4 Thursday. Game 4 Saturday. Did I say Game 3 Thursday night? I don't know what I said. But anyway, this is Leafs Game Night at TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium puck.
We're here to protect people.
Officer John Nolan has proven he can keep up with the young cops and the criminals.
Try and stop me.
Nathan Fillion stars in The Rookie.
Let's get this done.
New episode Tuesday at 9/10 Mountain. Stream next day on Crave.
Navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Alpine News Network is here live with one of our superheroes.
I don't want to say I'm a big deal, but I am a superhero. I love helping people consolidate their debts, and that's what I did for the Smiths. I took their bills and zoom, wha-bam, zap, turn them into one low monthly payment. No, the sound's not necessary, but it's part of the fun.
Own your home? Need a loan? Alpine Credits can help.
Alpine Credits, where homeowners get approved. Just for license 12616.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, It's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium parking navigator, a basketball team transporter, a remote cottage finder, a beaver spotter, a coach hauler, bear country guide, a family road trip carrier, a muddy road controller, extreme wind stabilizer, plus a... And we're out of time. Subaru is the multi-tool that masters every unpredictable weather condition. Visit your local Subaru dealer for great lease and finance options.
Oh, hello, scary monster from my nightmares. Why aren't I scared of you? Because I'm dreaming this nightmare in my new Vågstranda mattress from IKEA. I'm too comfortable and cozy to be scared. Oh no, scary monster, please don't cry. Look, I'm scared.
Visit IKEA today and start sleeping better tomorrow with everything you need for the bedroom of your dreams.
Well, the storylines from Game 1 are clear. The Senators were generous. The Leafs appreciated it. The power play was quick and effective, and it showed up on the scoreboard. Whatever the Sens provided, the Leafs were able to make them pay for. Now it's time for Game 2. How will this one start? And will the Leafs find their way to a second straight win? Well, let's find out. Molson Canadian Leafs hockey starts now.
It's time for Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. The Leafs live here.
Oh, yes, they do. Welcome to Molson Canadian Leafs hockey on TSN 1050 and the Leafs Radio Network. Jim Taddy and former NHLer Anthony Stewart with you. The energy in the building starting to crank up. Players not quite on the ice yet, and the starting lineup goes like this. Matthews between Marner and Nyes. Tavares between Nylander and Holmberg. Domi centering Robertson and McMahon. Lawton centering Yarncroke and Lorentz. Blue line pairings, Riley, Carlo, McCabe, Tanev, Benoit, OEL. Stolar starts in goal. So a bit of a shift, and I think this happened partway through the game anyway. Holmberg going up on the left side with Tavares and Nylander.
Yeah, there's going to be some shuffling here and there just due to some matchups, and I don't think it's positive or negative. But again, I think it's going back to the chemistry that Domi did have with Robertson and McMahon earlier in the year, and I'm looking for McMahon maybe to respond. Not saying he had a bad game, but just getting it on the forecheck. So that could be a game-breaking line as well, too. The fourth line had a great game last game, and obviously they got in on the first goal with Lawton assisting on OEL's goal. But ultimately, I think it's going to be the top dogs continuing to produce at such a high level. You saw Tavares have a great game. Marner, Nylander, Tavares, Marner as well, too, and Matthews, too. So it's going to be a good team effort, and that was a great response with not a great start that the Toronto Maple Leafs had in the first 5-6 minutes. So, again, I don't think they can rely on power plays tonight. They need all four lines going, getting on the forecheck, and being prepared for the start that Ottawa Senators are trying to bring back as they respond from Game 1.
And for the Ottawa Senators, a couple of guys who did not skate today. They were there briefly, but did not work out. Ridley Gregg back in tonight, playing with Pinto and Amadio. And also on the blue line, Jensen is in, did not skate today with Thomas Chabot. So it's status quo. They've added Nick Cousins on the fourth line. So there's some more truculence being added there.
Yeah, but if I'm Toronto, I'm not getting involved in the extracurriculars. And Ridley Gregg is more of a gnat than a heavyweight that's going to impact. But he does have an impact, right?
He
so
gets in there.
You control your smiles and your cries. So I think as opposed to crying about it, you just sort of smile at him. But again, you can't let them take over the game with the physicality department. I think you got to not turn the other cheek, but just not get distracted by that. Because I think that's an in for Ottawa to try to take over this series. So again, continue just to play your game, wait for your opportunities, do not blow the zone, do a better job protecting the goaltender, protecting the interior, don't give them second, third opportunities, and do what you did last game. Strike when the iron is hot, take advantage of any and every mistake that the Ottawa Senators make.
Okay, let's talk about matchups, because when I look at the Ottawa forward unit, the left side, Tkachuk, Perron, Gregg, Cousins up against Marner, Nylander, Robertson, and Yarncroke. That's an interesting matchup, isn't it?
It is, and Cousins is one of those guys that he does have playoff experience too. And we saw Gregg get involved in the truculence department, and looking at Perron, who was injured some of the year as well. So again, it's an even matchup, but I think Toronto does have the edge. I believe there's a little bit more depth in the middle with Shane Pinto in the 3-hole, and he's a guy that can make a difference as well. And we know the fourth line, Gaudette and Zetterlund, and that's a guy that I'll be keying in on today. You got to protect the interior with Zetterlund because he can get there, and he has a great scoring touch. So, again, great job by the fourth line, getting in on the offense. They weren't stuck in their zone for an extended period of time. So the depth department, maybe Ottawa has a slight edge. 5-on-5, but I think Toronto just has to counteract that with their Craig Berube system.
So let me play a game with you. What if Ottawa corrects their start and adds to it? They had a pretty good start in game one. They have a better start, but the Leafs are still up 2-0 12 minutes in.
I think they're going to try to turn the game upside down, and there's going to be brawls, and there's going to be the fans getting involved and all that. They have to find a way to get Toronto off their game. But ultimately, as much as they would get upset at Ottawa, I think they're going to be more in fear of Craig Berube and drawing the ire of him. So I think they've figured out exactly how they have to play. And sometimes there's some trust issues in believing in the system. But when you have success, it's won them the division, you have to stick to it. So they've done a great job for the most part being disciplined. I do not see Ottawa getting them off their game tonight.
You can hear in the background they have this scoreboard thing to generate some excitement. I mean, everybody is standing and waving the free towels, the rally towels.
Where's ours?
Sorry, guy, you got stiffed.
It was into my contract. I thought I had it.
But the players are not on the ice yet, which is remarkable. That they've built this place into a frenzy. They've got a scoreboard show that really gets everybody revved up, and the players we can see on the scoreboard. The Leafs have not left the dressing room yet. They're at the doorway. They're waiting to come out. So this is like putting a boiling pot of water on even higher heat, isn't it?
Yes, and this is my first time experience playoff hockey in Toronto as a player or a commentator, and you can feel the energy. And I know it's tough if you're driving or listening at home, but it's electric.
Yeah.
And you can see that this is not a hockey city. This is a Toronto Maple Leaf city, and it's great to see the fans coming out in droves. You're hearing the boos.
Yeah, Ottawa.
They're not saying boo Earns. They are booing the Ottawa Senators, and it's great to see. Hockey is back in Toronto, the hockey mecca.
One bit of business left. That's the opening face-off. Bonesy and Ralphie are next. This is Molson Canadian Leafs Hockey on TSN 1050, the iHeartRadio app, and the Leafs Radio Network.
Touchdown. Great catch. Give me a high five. 5 minutes later. Interception. Awesome play. Give me a high five. 2 hours later.
These women are good people. Amanda Seyfried stars
It's our job to protect them.
in the riveting mystery thriller
You gotta let it go. I'll let it go when I find her.
Long Bright River. All new. Saturday at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on USA Network. Stream on Crave.
Eddie, did you order 20 high five specials from 2-for-1 Pizza?
You kept asking for high fives.
I meant, never mind. I'm hungry.
High five. Buy any large traditional pizza and get up to 3 medium one-topping pizzas for just $5 each.
When you get a Subaru with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and class-leading safety included, it's like you also get a Subaru that comes with your very own golf club holder, stadium
across the country, turning pools into lakefront cottages, boats into super yachts, decks into rooftop spas. It's dreaming like we've never dreamed before. Tuesday's Lotto Max jackpot is an estimated $55 million, plus an estimated 4 Max Millions. Why dream to the min when you can dream to the max?
Keeping your winter tires on in warm weather is like wearing a parka at a picnic. Drive over to your friendly Canadian-owned and operated Meineke Car Care Center for spring tire changeovers starting at just $59.95. Spring ready packages start at just $49.95 with an oil change, brake inspection, and more. Plus, buy 4 tires and get 50% off an alignment. Book your appointment at Meineke.ca today. Terms and conditions apply. Meineke, doing car care right.
Excellence. It's not just a goal, it's our legacy. At Miele, we pride ourselves on being the industry leader for timeless German-engineered appliances. I'm Nelson Fresco, President and CEO of Miele Canada, inviting you to experience the extraordinary. Until June 26th during our spring sales event, save 10% on your purchase and enjoy a free 5-year warranty. Visit your local retailer or Miele.ca. Once a Miele, always a Miele.
The savings never stop at your local Metro, your go-to for quality foods at prices you'll love. Until April 23rd, take advantage of great deals on fresh, top-quality meats and produce, like fresh pork tenderloin for just $3.99 per pound, and jumbo whole pineapples or 2-pound bags of lemons, both just $2.99 each. Don't forget, you'll earn moi points on every eligible purchase, whether you shop in-store or online at metro.ca. Metro, your go-to grocer for savings and quality. Order up for Damien.
Hey, how did your doctor's appointment go, by the way? Did you ask about Rybelsus?
Actually, I'm seeing my doctor later today.
Did you say Rybelsus? My dad's been talking about Rybelsus.
Rybelsus? Really?
Yeah, he says it's a pill
That's right. Did you know it's also covered by most private insurance plans?
Well, I'll definitely be asking my doctor if Rybelsus is right for me.
Rybelsus. Ask your doctor or visit rybelsus.ca.
Order up for Rybelsus.
TSN 1050. Listen anywhere. Stream your favorite shows on your smart speaker. Simply tell your smart speaker to listen to TSN 1050 everywhere you want it.
Leafs and the Ottawa Senators getting set for Game 2 of this series. The teams are ready at center ice. Fourth line starting for the Maple Leafs. And the puck is dropped, and we're underway, and we're glad you're with it as it goes down into the Ottawa zone. And this crowd is revved up the way it was the other night. Senators have it back at their own goal. Taking their time with the pass, and it is Jensen getting it ahead at center, but knocked away there by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Cleared ahead, and another hit as it goes down towards the Leaf goal. Grabbed off by Benoit. Bank pass ahead to the line. Fed in by Lorenz, and it'll go around back of the net. Cleared up on the boards, and it's blocked by the Leafs there. Played into the corner for Lorenz. Lorenz gets it freed up for Lawton. Lawton back to the point, D to D, it comes to McCabe, a shot, and that was deflected to the side of the goal. It comes in front, and it's grabbed off there by David Perron and played to center ice. Changes for the first time for both teams. McCabe back in his own zone to Chris Tanev. Tanev got it ahead to Tavares. Up on the wing it goes, and now Pontus Holmberg gets it in over the line, but he was ridden off on the far boards. Senators back to the goal. Pinto got it up on the wing, and it's off his stick to center ice. Bouncing puck was in over the line. Grabbed off by Shane Pinto. He'll play it around back of the net. Chipped along the boards for Riley, and Riley gets it to Nylander, who gets it to Carlo. In on the left wing now. Holmberg in! And a save made by Linus Ullmark. Puck is set in front of the goal. It'll come back to the point. Brandon Carlo along the boards for Nylander. Back of the net for Tavares. He can't make a move as it comes back up on the far boards. And Michael Amadio trying to get it out. Finds Artem Zub, who will carry to the red line and just shoot it into the Toronto end. This has started off, Mr. Ralph, like game one. Anything that moves gets hit.
Yeah, fourth line right away. A lot of hits.
Nyes carries to center. Missed a hit there from Zub as it goes down into the corner. A hit along the boards by Matthews. Stolen by Nyes. Back of the net, Nyes couldn't get it in front. Now he does! It hit the goal post. Marner rings it off the iron. Back in over the Toronto line with Stützle taking off the puck.
Boy,
Marner.
that was a wide open net. As Matthew Nyes from the side of the goal found Mitch Marner in front. And Marner rings it off the iron.
Played in over the line by Bobby McMahon. He hunts down his man with a hit along the boards as well. Domi trying to get it away from Nick Cousins. Cousins, who was not in the game the other night, is the only change. Matthew Highmore is the scratch. Played out at center ice for Zetterlund. Long shoot-in, and Anthony Stolarz handles the puck for the first time. Puck in the Toronto zone, far board. Zetterlund off a stick. Control to the near side for Artem Zub. That was deflected away by Domi. Played back into the corner, and Domi is on his man there, trying to free it up. It's played up along the boards and into the corner again. Centering pass, knocked away. Oliver Ekman-Larsson was hit. Domi will get it to the line, but not out. Shot back in deep into the Toronto zone. Benoit to his defense partner, but it bounced over his stick, but now the Leafs get it freed up, and Nick Robertson will carry to center and send a bouncing shot in. That took a pretty good hop, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty smart play by Robertson. He was at the end of a long shift. I wasn't going to carry it any further. So the Leafs have the first two decent opportunities of the game. Pontus Holmberg walked in on the left wing side. And then Mitch Marner. I mean, Linus Ullmark isn't even covering half the goal on the short side. Marner got it away quickly.
Now, Ullmark has gone to the Ottawa bench.
I'm assuming an equipment issue.
Boy, Chris Tanev was at the right point when Marner had already had his arms up in the air. But the Leafs will have to wait. Slight edge in the shots on goal early on, 2-1.
So it's a chest protector issue or a pant issue. It is being adjusted by the equipment manager of the Ottawa Senators.
Been in that situation before where the official finally says, look, either guy goes in or it's a delay of game penalty.
And your guy...
Oh, no, my coach said right away, we're putting the other guy
in. Actually, the problem was the equipment manager cut the scrap before you went out. That was the issue. Yeah. You can't trust those guys.
It was more underwear related than anything else.
Well, it looks like they have finally gotten it rectified. The referees tonight are Gord Dwyer and Pierre Lambert.
Well, you know what
James Tobias and Trent Knorr, the linesmen.
I apologize. One of the things we can do is in a couple of shutouts I wanted to give. Joe,
yep.
What a better time than now. Lloyd Fremlin and Sault Ste. Marie, regular listener.
Hey, Lloyd.
It's a friend of my dad's, and Jeffrey Rainey, who's a friend of my son Jesse's, listens every game up in the Newmarket, Aurora area. So we appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely we do. Draw to the right of the re-equipped Linus Ullmark. Draw one by the Leafs. Riley, D to D. Carlo with a shot deflected just wide of the net. Back of the goal. Tavares tried to center in front, and it was knocked wide of the goal by Holmberg. Tavares coming out of the corner. Slides it back to Nylander. Nylander stops up. Into the corner with the centering pass. Score! Defenseman doing the job, Morgan Riley.
Riley jumped down from the left point. I think this just gets over the goal line, and Linus Ullmark sweeps it back out. That's why there was a delay, and John Tavares then put the rebound in, but it is in fact going to be Morgan Riley. And this might be off the left skate of the Leaf defenseman. He just turns his skate and deflects it. Coming down from the left point, great feed from Willie Nylander. And the Leafs have come out as Craig Berube wanted, on their toes.
Shoot in into the Toronto zone, grabbed off by Benoit, reversed on the left wing, and it is Lorenz dropping it off to the defenseman who gets it ahead, and it's deflected high into Ottawa territory. And that goal has got everybody inside and outside. Scotiabank Arena revved up. Backhanded to the Toronto blue line. A hit there, but the puck comes free to Lawton, and a delayed offside is going to be called because the stickless Ottawa player decided to continue the forecheck. And the whistle goes because of the infringement, and the faceoff comes back in front of the Ottawa blue line. Morgan Riley's second playoff goal of this series. Remember that low-scoring Toronto blue line core?
Yeah. Well, I mean, things have been great from the blue line to the fourth line.
Draw one by Toronto. Tanev plays it to his defense partner. Jake McCabe up on the wing for Matthews, who will play it into the zone. Nyes goes into the forecheck against Zub. Matthews couldn't steal the puck. It comes free and brought out at center ice now by Sanderson. In on the left wing. Here's a shot that went well wide of the goal, and the Leafs unable to get to it ahead of Zub as it comes back into the slot area. Grabbed off by Sanderson. A shot blockered away there by the goaltender, and a penalty coming here.
They're calling it a high stick.
And it was on Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah, it was Chris Tanev may have got the stick up. I don't know how much contact was made, but Brady Tkachuk with the head snap.
From Nylander and Tavares at 3:45.
Nylander and Tavares draw the assists on the goal. And the Senators will go to their first power play of the game.
The stick did come up, but Travis Green accused the Leafs of selling some penalties in Game 1.
Oh, now here you go.
No, I'm just repeating what somebody said.
All right, fine. Penalty kill brought to you by CMC Markets. Take your trading to the next level with $0 commission on stocks.
That's a huge power play for Ottawa.
Stützle taking the face-off against Matthews. And they control it. Back to the point it comes. Passed off by Sanderson to Stützle. Back to Sanderson. Sanderson returns the favor. Stützle down low into the corner. Centering pass. Knocked down. Down is Stolarz. And he is sprawled out all 6'5" of that frame. And this time, unlike in Game 1, with that puck in the goal crease, he found it.
Yeah, this goes off the skate of Jake McCabe and settles right in the blue paint, and Stolarz has to jump out and pounce on it before Tim Stützle could get there and chip it in. You like the positioning by McCabe, but almost a bad break for the Leafs.
Matthews will take the face-off against Tkachuk. And the draw won cleanly by Ottawa, but then stolen by the Leafs and poked out at center ice by the long reach of Brandon Carlo. Senators Sanderson back in his own zone. Gets it ahead and brought to the line by Greg Batherson in on the left wing for Tkachuk. Tkachuk tries to come to the front of the net. He does get it out in front, but it's broken up. Comes back to Sanderson at the point. Dished off on the left wing side to Stützle, back to Sanderson. Sanderson trying to play it back, but had it blocked, but it goes to the side of the goal. Centering pass! Blocked the rebound! Down is Stolarz again! And it's cleared around the ice and down off the boards into Ottawa territory.
Not sure if Stolarz made that initial stop or if Jake McCabe sprawled right in front of the Leaf goaltender got a piece of it first.
Senators can't get into the zone cleanly. Chabot now sends it in. Blom back of the net. Leafs are going to ring it around the boards and down the ice it goes. 45 seconds left in the first power play of the game. Senators were 0 for 2 in Game 1. Brought in over the line by Perron. Back to the point it comes. Near side for Zetterlund and a shot into the chest of Stolarz. And he is picked up right where he left off in Game 1. 6 shots on goal, and now we get some pushing and shoving with Giroux and Lawton.
They would have been teammates for a long stretch of their careers in Philadelphia.
Yep.
I thought maybe Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Joe, might have taken a high stick. Saw the head snap back.
He's talking to the official as he skates by him. There aren't going to be any penalties here, apparently.
Yeah,
I wonder if Nona is in approval of Mr. Lawton's activities. You read that story about his grandma, or his wife's mother?
His mother-in-law, yeah.
Mother-in-law making pasta for him. So a shout out to Nona.
Yes. And hockey players being superstitious.
I'm betting he had another delivery.
Yeah, between games.
Shot down into the Ottawa zone. 20 seconds left in the power play. 1-0 Leafs on an early goal from Morgan Riley. Brought in on the right side now by Cousins. A long shot went wide. Matthews gets a hold of it. Batted out of the air by Marner and played to center ice as the penalty will expire in 2 seconds' time. McCabe trying to play it out, but it's blocked. Stützle to the left wing side. A shot. Another big save made by Stolarz. That time off of Brady Tkachuk. Here's Stützle into the slot, a shot, and that went wide. Leafs are running around a little bit in their own end. Centering pass comes back to the point. Zub keeping it in. Sharp angle try blocked. Rebound taken back of the net by Tanev. He settles things right down and gets it into the corner. Now we'll play it back to his defense partner, and everything is duckety-doo.
And with that power play, the Sens now out shooting the Leafs 7-3. So similar story to Game 1.
Morgan Riley gets the puck out at center. Sens bring it back in, but it's knocked off his stick into the corner. Riley got there first, couldn't come up with it cleanly. It comes out in front of the Leaf goal. Pontus Holmberg will flip it around the boards to Riley, who will get it out at center. Brought on by Tavares. Left wing side. Here's Pontus Holmberg! Looking for a redirect, and it just missed the stick of Tavares. Kept in by Nylander. Nylander closes a pass across. Off a stick, and it goes to Riley. Riley back in along the boards for Willie. Nylander working back towards the blue line. Dishes it off, and a shot and a goal to stop. A tripping call coming to Ottawa.
Big saves, big kill, and an opportunity at the other end draws the first Ottawa penalty of the night.
Morgan Riley has the Leafs on the board. They go to the power play. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on TSN 1050 and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Push boundaries, take on new challenges, break free of your comfort zone with Toyota. Get in and go to Maple Toyota for the 2025 Toyota Corolla Cross Subcompact.
Sometimes finding your way means following your heart, even if you don't know where it might lead.
No matter where I went, a part of me would always be here.
A new season of Sullivan's Crossing starts Sunday at 7:10 Mountain on CTV. Stream next day on Crave.
Sometimes an identity threat is a ring of professional hackers. And sometimes it's an overworked accountant who forgot to encrypt their connection while